Hi, it's Trevor Emdon here again. And if you've been watching the previous videos on my effortless personal success topic and formula, you'll know how excited I am about it. And also excited and grateful. I want to really say thank you to all of you who've responded with, in an answer to the question, what's standing in the way of your personal success? The answer that's come up over and over again. I mean, there are a number of things, but the one that's come up in different variants, but the same issue really is, how can I possibly follow my dream when it doesn't meet the needs of my family? Now I'm going to touch on, in fact, I'm going to go a bit deeper into the answer to that right here today. Um, so, and then I'm going to tell you about the four pillars of effortless personal success, the whole formula. So you get a sense of what it is and how it all works. So stick with me on this one. Okay, so the answer to the question really is so simple. Let me tell you how I was in the same place. I was in the same place for so long, and I stuck at a job that I hate is probably a bit of a strong word, but I was getting to that point. I stuck at a job that was no longer satisfying me. It wasn't a horrible job. It was, in many ways, it was a rewarding job because I was working in mental health. So I was working with real people, no 2 days alike. I wasn't stuck in a factory pressing a button or pulling a lever or something. I was, at the coalface with real human beings every day. But there were all kinds of restrictions and on me personally, because I wanted to personally do and give and say so much more in books and in teaching and stuff. I didn't have the time or the energy left over to do that, and I couldn't do it from within the job itself. So that was one area, just for me personally, that was frustrating. Also, we live in an age when the politics and the conditions of that kind of work are changing dramatically. Whereas for me, I'm getting on a bit. I've been around that profession for over 30 years, and in the early days, you'd go to work and you'd work with people all day, and in the more recent years, I'd go to work and I'd work on a computer for 6 or 7 hours out of 7.5 sometimes, and it's like, well, and people would phone up and say, "How's my mother?" And I honestly didn't know. I hadn't seen their mother all day. I had to go and ask the care team. Whereas I used to be really on top of that kind of thing. And so it was like, well, I didn't want to sit in front of a computer and fill in forms and tick boxes. So that was for me. And the hours were long. I was physically getting exhausted and ill over it. So for all kinds of reasons, I didn't want to keep doing it. But I stayed with it. Why? Because I thought, well, it's paying the bills. And if I stop paying the bills, then me and my wife, we could be homeless. I mean, all that worst case scenario stuff, right? So I had the same issue. It's a great and very real question. And the answer, when it eventually came, and I quit my job on December 31st, 2013. So I've been a free man in terms of no contractual obligation to an employer since January the 1st, 2014. So, and I did that. I didn't have money in the bank. I've said this before. I had enough to live on for 3 months. That was it. January, February, March. And come April 1st, if I hadn't made any more money, I'd have been looking into an abyss financially. So that was all I had. I did not have this great big cushion of, oh, well, it's all right for you because you'll be. I had 3 months, 12 weeks, the first week of which doesn't count for much because everybody's on holiday the first week of January. Can't do much. But I made it, I made money, and I'm still here. Now, it wasn't just a straightforward, right, I'm taking off now. I wanted it to be like that, but it wasn't. I got scared. I ran close to running out of funds at times. I had to dig deep into my resourcefulness. But what I was determined to do, I wasn't going to replace having a job that was stressful with having no job and making it even more stressful. That was obviously pointless. So the answer to that question, when it came, was like, duh, simple. Forehead smackingly, oh, I didn't see that before. Why didn't I see it? So here it is. The answer. You ready? The answer is, you already have all the resources you need. You have it all. There's nothing missing. There's nothing you have to wait for. Oh gosh, that's such a relief. There's nothing you have to wait for. Now, I know that when I say that, a whole bunch of thinking comes up. Well, what are you talking about? I don't have enough money. I don't have the qualifications. Nobody knows who I am. If I really did what I wanted to do, it would be ABC, and I don't know where to begin. All of that stuff comes up. And that's pillar number 3. Pillar number 1, dealing with that thinking, is pillar number 3. And you can deal with it like that. Because it's only thinking. It's not the truth. And that was another dull moment. It's not the truth. You have everything you need. And that's the starting point. And pillar number 1, and I know I'm taking them out of sequence, but I wanted to address that question particularly. Pillar number 1 is what I call the 4 I's. And the 4 I's are intuition, imagination, inspiration, and intellect. You can change the order of those around as long as you leave intellect last. Because what we tend to do is put it first. And we say, oh, well, let me think about it. I want to quit my job. I want to do something that I love doing. Let me think about it. How would I do it? Right? And that's wrong. If you put intellect at the back of the queue, we need an intellect. It's a really, really good resource to have. I'm not saying it's something to be like, whoa, I'm not going to listen to my intellect. It's really handy. But it comes last when you've got all the intuition, the inspiration, the imagination flowing, and the juice is flowing, and you feel like, wow, that would be exciting. Instead of listening to all the bunch of thinking about, well, I could never do that, and how would I get started? Ta-da! You then listen to the intellect instead of the thinking. Use the intellect to actually start taking the action steps that you need. And then other realizations that fell into place. Like, you don't need to know how everything's going to work. The metaphor that I like about that is driving in the dark. Now, I live in the UK. I think it's 800 and something miles from Land's End to John O'Groats, which is the very south to the very north. That's the longest journey we can do. It's less than 1,000 miles. Still takes quite a long time to get there, and I've never done it. But I know that if you live in America, if you live on the east coast of America, I can't remember how many thousands of miles it is to the west coast. About 4,000 miles, something like that. It's 4 time zones away, isn't it? I believe, not counting Hawaii, which is somewhere on a different planet almost. But just on the mainland of the United States. But you could drive it. In theory, you could just drive at night, every night. You drive until daylight, check in somewhere, sleep all day, drive all night. So you're always driving in the dark. And the headlamps on your car, how far ahead can they see? Even in pitch blackness, even if you're driving across some completely unlit prairie, how far ahead can it see? 200, 300, 400 yards? I don't know how far headlamps shine. But it's only a few hundred yards. It's certainly not a couple of miles, and it's certainly not thousands of miles. And yet, you could still do that entire journey, only being able to see what's in front of you. Because that's all you need. And when you move and you take that next step or drive that next 500 yards, you can see the next 500. And on and on and on and on it goes. It never ends. But if you wait to see, well, I'm on the east coast of America, and I can't see the west coast from here, so I'm not going to start the journey. That's what we do with our lives. Instead of realizing, well, I could take one step and see what happens, something will happen. Something will happen that is, I guarantee you, different from what would happen if you didn't take the step. And I stuck for 17 years in a job I didn't want, never taking that step. When I took it, another step showed up. I didn't know it was going to show up. And that next step, it showed up within the first couple of weeks of my new freedom. And that step led to a series of events that within the next couple of weeks made me my first $1,000 day online. Now, I'm not saying you may not even want to work online, but that $1,000 came in a single day. It's like, oh wow! And then over the next couple of weeks, that happened 2 or 3 more times. So I had several $1,000s come in, and yeah, was I just sitting back and watching the money come in and doing nothing, eating popcorn on my sofa? No, I was working for it. Well, I was doing activity for it. but I no longer called it work because, like, this is fun and people are paying me to have fun. I was doing what I love, right? So that's how it works. So I know that this is a quick kind of skimming the surface, but I hope that's given you a sense of when you shift your focus that way, you begin to see possibilities and allow possibilities that until now you've blocked out. So what I'd like to tell you about is, I just want to kind of put this out there. I'm putting together a program about the effortless personal success formula, how to living the effortless personal success formula. I haven't even given it a proper title yet. I'm going to release it in the next couple of weeks, and it will be a short program. It'll be 4 or maybe 6 weeks, and we'll just meet once or maybe 2 times a week for that period of time. And there will be an early bird pricing, which will only be available for a few days. So if you want to be on the early bird pricing, then you'll need to keep your eye on this. Put a comment below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or on my blog or anywhere else, that if somebody embeds it somewhere else, or just let me know. Email me. I'll put my email address on the screen here. If you like, I'll put it on at the end. So just email me if you want to be on the early bird list about that. So that's it. Please leave your comments, your questions, what you'd like from from me, what you'd like from the program. If you're interested in the program, it will be very affordable. It will be a very short time frame, so that we can get momentum, get you onto your personal success very, very quickly. I don't want to drag this out. Because there's no need to. You can start right now. Right now, you have everything you need. And when you get that, it's like, oh, wow, I can just do it. The freedom is brilliant, and it can be instantaneous. So I really want to give you that experience, and it's more than a treat. It's just completely liberating. So there you go. Please leave your comments, questions below. As I say, I'm going to put my email address at the end of this video on a separate screen. So if you want to contact me with questions about it, I'm very reachable. And thank you so much for watching. Watch out for my next video, when I will have more details, or all the details, about the release dates, the early bird pricing, how you can join the program, and anything else that you need to know about the effortless personal success formula. So I hope that's helpful, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.